Right? It's Scrap Masters time. It is Friday afternoon or whenever you're watching it. We are on Series 3, Week 6. Are you ready? Let's get started. And welcome back to So Well with Rob Appell. This is a Friday afternoon Scrap Masters random scrap block, random quilt block generated by the super cool color wheel spinner and these two dice. Free pattern below in the link or over on robappell.com. I am your host, Rob Appell, and I'm so blessed to see all of you out there. If it is a Friday afternoon, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, please join us along for the chat. Today, our theme is Dressed for Success. That's right. We've got the really cool new merch. There is a link over on robappell.com to Sticker Mule. I love these folks. They're absolutely great. So now you can get a ball cap. You can get the front Scrap Masters logo. I've got one of these on the back with the small on the front. Super cool, and all the other t-shirts. Yes, it looks like we are going to probably have more kits for the New Year's Day mystery quilt along that happens on, well, New Year's Day coming up this year. Not quite sure yet. I've had to do a little swapperoo of some fabric, but I think it's worth it. So anyways, once I get my eyes on, I will let you know. There will be another link for that. Free pattern is what I was starting to say for Scrap Masters. If you want to do your own thing, we have the color wheel spinner and dice, as well as all kinds of other incredible patterns on robappell.com. Check it out. That's how I pay for making this show for all of you. I love it and I appreciate the support that is going on. Now we need to go ahead and figure out what block we are doing here for week 6. If you're brand new to the show, what you're seeing right here on the wall is 5 blocks randomly generated over the last 5 weeks by rolling the dice, picking the pattern that we're using, all of that kind of stuff, choosing our colors. This here behind me was kind of a collaborative. It's a collaborative quilt. I'm calling Neon Nights, and it really is a series of 1 and series 2 pattern blocks all fit together. They all work together. Series 3 really is the greatest hits of 1 and 2 plus a couple I've already created. And here you are seeing the scrappiest of all scrap versions where I use my low volume neutrals as the background fabrics. I've actually just put together some really cool videos on binding and trimming and secretly putting in a sleeve. So I'm actually carefully finishing the hands. I didn't say it. I know hand is a 4-letter word. I'm stitching down the sleeve on this, and I've got some cool videos I need to finish editing out. But anyways, really excited about everything that is going on around here in my studio. Just got back from a great trip to Indiana, the Appleseed Quilters, and my lovely friend Lisa over at Unraveled. It was amazing. So anyways, I'm still sewing my way through the scrap blocks. You were supposed to print out all 12 blocks, choose your favorite 6, and number them accordingly, 1 through 6, so that when I roll this die, you would know what we are on. Now, right now, I am going to go ahead and just use this block today so that if you're brand new, you can see how I build this. So I am going to personally call this block today number 1. Lucky number 1. I love it. So if you have numbered your blocks, go ahead and grab block number 1 for yourself and get ready to sew along with me. I'm going to pick the color here randomly with my color wheel spinner. And it looks like we have got orange. We are doing block 1 in orange. Now, this is my favorite part, folks. You know, we are going to use the 20-sided die to figure out how many different fabrics we can use in today. I've got my, of course, background, which is the Stardust from Tula Pink in the gray version. Some of you are seeing it as white. It's a gray, light gray. And then I've got my golden tray of treasures, my scraps, and it's almost time to go scrap shopping again, folks, but we'll talk about that another time. How many fabrics are we going to use today? Oh, off the roll, off the wall, and 10 it is. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's set that aside. Let's go ahead and start building out the parts and pieces we're going to need for today's block. Don't forget, if you're a little stuck with the number, the color, or any of that, you can always refer to the rules, and there really are no rules. This is our way of having something to sew on when we don't know what to sew on, our way of just kind of keeping our creative juices flowing, working through our fabrics, and doing our best to learn about quilting together as a community. Again, super glad you're here. Iron's hot, ready to go. Let's get to picking those fabrics now with color orange, which we've determined I have like 0 of at this point. So I'm going to kind of go to my golds and call these my oranges, and I apologize, but why should I apologize? Here is 1, 2, 3, 4 different gold and oranges. I really like what I did with the red violets on the wall and the blue greens. So let's not do that this time. And I'm going to again turn my color wheel to really what I'm using versus what I said by name. And now with that, again, you can see where that blue, green, and that red violet were so strong. Blue and violet in here with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 more pieces of fabric to choose from. I think really what I'm going to need to do is play within one more color family that I really like. So what happens if I just go into the red violet this time? Because I can use the gray as that third color family. So if I get down into here and I start picking these, what will happen visually? I said I needed 6 more, so that's technically really 3 different fabrics there. And then if I know, that's going to muddy it up, but this doesn't. So what happens here? Now I need a lot of squares today, so this is going to be good because these are pre-cut down into my 2.5 inches, and the other pieces I need are 3-inch squares. So let me see what I can do with this color combination. I like what just happened here. So let's move forward with what we've got. And now I'm going to go ahead and call my background common fabric the white spaces. I'm going to call my orange fabrics, or my golds today, my gray spaces, and I'll call all 6 of these fabric my black spaces as I look at the pattern. So let's account for half square triangles real quick. With those gray and whites, there are 0. For the black and whites, there are 10. So I need 5 different ones, but they do need to be 3 inches. So here's basically what I can do. 1, 2, and this one actually is a little big, needs to be trimmed down. That's 5. So I'll pair those right sides together now with my white fabric family. Because I just used the diagonals, I can set this one up no problem here. Half square triangles there. And then when it says I want to use from my black and gray family, that's going to be from these 2 families here. So let's use this one that's got a lot of fun going on with it. And I like the way those 2 read together. So now that will account for all, ooh, this is lovely. Not very many half square triangles do we need to make today. When we need to make our squares, let's count for those as well. For the white ones, I've pre-cut down already, so I need 8 of those. Of the gray squares, I'll need 8. So let's definitely use that one fabric. We'll use a couple more of these fabrics here. 1, 2, 3, stacked off of this bottom corner so those 2 edges are clean. And then number 4 goes there so that I can go ahead and trim these down now to the size I need, which will be the 2.5. So all of our units, if you're brand new here, are 2.5s. So we'll trim down our half square triangles there after we create them as well. But first, let's just prep these squares out. So that accounts for the gray ones I need now. Plus, I'm going to add 4 from the pre-cuts that were already 2.5s. So the benefit of working through my scraps. And now the pattern also calls for 8 from our black pile here. And because these were already pre-cut down again, I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, and 4 of those. Here's 2 of these, but I don't want to be too sloppy. So let's pull 1 out of there. Let's use this up for the final time. So that makes 6, 7, 8. Set all those aside just in case I didn't count right. Let's get to making these half square triangles, and the easiest way is going to be to follow a diagonal line corner to corner here, or draw that diagonal line yourself corner to corner. We'll yield 2 per 3-inch square sets here. So I'm going to chain piece these now, all of them down one side. Okay, so here's that wonky one. So I'm going to start where it looks good, and then I'm going to come down here and just keep sewing with that corner. It'll just go right through there. And then as I go to chain piece, I'm just going to lift my foot and swing it all around this way so that I can realign, recalibrate. And I'm going to do the same thing just to go ahead and finish this one up. Now I'm kind of watching my thread running parallel to the foot. Corner still on that marker. Now I'm going to cut these threads, and I'm going to go ahead and get ready to start slicing through these. And I do want to do a quick shout out and thank you to all the great people I have met and or got to visit with recently. But before we go any further, yes, folks, I know the hat is wild. I'm not sure which way to wear it. I know it makes for crazy hair. I just wanted to show it off, but I do know it throws shadows all over the camera work and everything. So we'll just do this for the rest of the day. And don't forget to pick up your Scrap Masters apparel over on robappell.com. I'm going to talk real quick. I am just using the straight edge of the slotted trimmer I'll use to make slotted edges or straight edges here in a moment. But first I'm going to cut down all of these pieces. I like to do everything in the same format, especially while talking about the great folks. So yes, Ed and Becky Bennett, oh my gosh, it was so great to see you all. Thank you so much for letting me ride your electric bicycle. Ed, it was great to see you and all of the fantastic 3D printing you are doing and the joy you are getting from your grandsons and the neighbors. Oh my gosh, how much fun is it to see in that beautiful community, and thank you so much for inviting me and hosting me for the Appleseed Quilters Guild. It was a full house and a lot of energy, and we had a great time both in class, and I really felt like I got to give a great presentation that evening and was super, super blessed to get to show my quilts and share my story again while I was there. Ooh, it is loud in there, man. I'm telling you what, I just taught quilting all day long. All right, here we go, Appleseed Quilters. We are out in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we got a whole group of wonky log cabin makers doing a great job. Look at all this awesome fabric all over the place. You can see, especially with the glasses off, I'm feeling a bit tired, but when you see the size of this crowd,
get ready to be inspired. Let's give a massive warm welcome to the one and only Rob Appell.
I'm going to start going ahead and cutting these down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that thread line and the 2.5 inch marker on my slotted trimmer. We're just trimming to 2.5 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and basically line it up so the dotted line's just over my threads. And then I'm going to trim down both of these sides here like this. Oops. And then I do like to go ahead and just manually dog ear the corners. The slotted trimmer will do it if you're not wearing a ball cap, glasses, and moving too fast. And then I'm just going to press all of them to the dark side. So that's the instructions while we're talking here, while I get my parts and pieces ready. Getting all the parts and pieces ready is really the key to the randomness. You notice I never have discussed what's going where yet. I'm just cutting through and getting all my pieces ready because I believe that makes it so much easier to design as we get into the final phase here. But we were back to Indiana and we had left off and heading towards Spencer. Actually, I'm going in reverse, but it was so great to see John and Lisa from Unraveled Quilt Shop and just longtime friends and their family, and it was super fun to get to do some really fun tattoos. Favorite experience there was Sarah Grace busts out a picture and says, "Hey Rob, do you know what this is?" And I said, "Of course I know what that is." I said, "I might even have one with me." And I go to my candy bag in my backpack, and lo and behold, I did have one crusty little strawberry candy left from the holidays. And so I drew up a picture of it and tattooed it because that's what she wanted. And that was an incredibly fun experience for me. And I really enjoyed getting to do that. Super awesome. So that was great fun, getting to see the folks along the road, and also just getting ready to be on the road again this week. Traveling, prepping, getting everything ready for the New Year's Day sew along. So grateful, so blessed to have the time in the studio, and also the balance of time on the road right now. It seems to be going fairly well, and I really do enjoy getting to get out there and see everybody in the energy of presenting my quilts to the guilds and doing workshops. Again, so if you have a club that you're part of or a retail shop that you think would benefit, please let the group members know, let the committees know, rob@robappell.com, and we will get you set up so that I can come and visit and do a wonderful presentation for you all and spend my time and passion with you quilting and just having a great time. So anyways, let me finish trimming these down and pressing them so we can get into designing for the day. Don't neglect to type up what you're grateful for in the chat below. Okay, now, as I've gotten them trimmed down and pressed over, I also organized them, and I'm finding the power of keeping the red side of the purple separate from the blue side of the purple. So let's see how we actually do that. I've tried to kind of divide it up that way also today. I think that that's powerful in design, something I wasn't always good at. So anyways, let's start in the middle of our block. Even though I'm going to sew these in columns today, I like to design from the center out. I think it makes good sense. And so we're going to start with those that are the two that are the black and gray, and they're basically going to face into each other with the grays this way, right? And then on the blacks, I guess what we can do now is, using different fabrics, try to make a gradient outward this way, or maybe we want to secretly replace one of these now so we can build upon it. Okay? From that point on, we're going to need our black squares to touch 2 by 2 as they go around. So again, let's utilize them to our advantage here. And begin to colorize this accordingly. I can see that's going to really play and intermingle a little bit. Okay, we might as well finish out the star points, making life easy, and they're going to point inward with the white fabrics, forming that triangle. It's kind of how I see it. Take a moment now to see if you like it. I feel like it's got a cool scrappy effect. I also have the benefits of being able to look into monitors that the cameras are filming, and I can see different effects from different directions. So I'm into this. Now, let's go ahead and take our medium fabrics and start to build our 4 patches here. And let's again try to do our best to keep them randomized so they don't feel like we've put the same fabrics in each and every same place, if this makes some sense. Let's switch these up here. And I can actually see I like the brightness against the star. So now I'm going to position real quickly all of them in my 4 patches bright against the star. And now I'll go ahead real quickly, laying in my white fabric family, the background for me today, the neutrals, and get ready to start machine piecing all of this together, web style, chain piecing style. So I'm going to lock down a 1/4 inch seam allowance, or put on a 1/4 inch foot, marking it to where I've used it for all of my other blocks here. Once I'm ready to keep that consistent 1/4 inch seam allowance, now I'm just going to look at these as columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I'm going to sew column 2 on top of column 1 to keep everything moving out of the machine as I work. I am no longer going to cut my threads until I get to the end of each column, and I will not be ironing until everything is assembled. So I'm going to sew down here, leave my foot, or excuse me, my needle down, my foot down, grab my next pieces. Once I gotten down to the bottom where that last series for the columns were, now I'll cut my thread, lift my needle and foot. I'm just going to slide everything down in the order it was in so that I can now open up and grab this top third column outside edge, and that'll help me rotate so that the piece falls right together with my patchwork. And now I'll just go ahead and chain piece all the way down through here, same format, stopping with my needle down, grabbing the next piece and sewing all the way to the bottom of this column. At which point I will then go all the way to the end with the same formula, and I'll show you the next trick. Okay, so that trick is this. Once everything has been stitched together in those first columns, just take a minute, open up all your squares, and make sure that your design is still correct. Make sure you can see your star points or your broken dish or whatever you've got going on here, and then just go ahead and we're gonna lay this, now what was, I guess, column 6 on top of column 5, and I'm gonna finger nest so that my seams will crisscross. And I'm going to start with a nice clean corner up here, and I'm going to make sure that whichever way this first seam starts to face, so this one's facing up, the next union I'll make face up as well, and that'll just help things stay nice and organized as I go through this system here, making it very easy to match my points, get nice seams, and again, we'll press here in a moment once all of our construction's done. So this is a good point to get my iron to start heating up as I go. Still building the work to stay out of the machine. I'm going to flip here again. And now this seam will be pointing down, so the under seam will be pointing up. So I just watch that as I go up and over my stitch plate. Check each time, align the seams. If you can self-correct if necessary down in there. I also like to take a moment and say thank you to everybody who's been posting your incredible blocks over on our Facebook group, So Well with Rob Appell. I am absolutely impressed and flabbergasted. I was really hoping that this would take off this way, that things would really happen this way once we shifted into different blocks, all of us working on at the same time for the fun of it. And now I am so excited to see everyone's blocks each week. Oh my goodness, it's great. Fantastic color choices. I think a lot of us are liking this common background with a little bit of color in it. I think it's a good choice. Whoever suggested that, again, thank you so much. So I'm feeling also extra blessed by this community. I feel so thankful for all of us out there. Feel free to join along, answer the 3 questions to be part of our Facebook group. I just posted the information, clue number 2 for the mystery quilt along for New Year's Day. You can access it on robappell.com and also put it up over there on that Facebook group, a reminder there. And all of that is happening, including when we figure out if we'll have more kits, I'll make the announcement there as well. Okay, now that I'm getting into this fourth, 1, 2, 3, I've already sewn, so this will be that 4th column I'm sewing. I've flipped the work over, so now I've got the smaller amount on top. Checking this seam is up on the bottom side, so now it's going to be down on the upper side. And this should set us off to a nice last couple of columns to sew through. And now that all of the sewing is done, let's go ahead and press it real good. I'm going to add a little bit of steam Let those seams settle. Work my way from center out. And say thank you again for being here today with me. I hope you caught the premiere on a Friday. I hope you were chatting along. I hope you were all excited about being dressed for success, because success is certainly how I am feeling right now. Very successful and thankful and grateful and blessed. Look at that awesome block number 1. I don't know what you worked on today, so definitely make sure you post your photographs of what your block 1 in color orange with 10 fabrics was over on that Facebook group. So well, Rob Appell. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all those lovely things. It helps the channel grow. I do so incredibly appreciate you helping me continue on with my quilt making journey right here on YouTube. I will see you incredibly soon. Until then, please stay well.